Hi guys, one of the arguments for Brexit was that the UK would be free to sign trade deals with countries around the world. Yes, that part came true. The New Zealand trade deal, for example, was one of the first agreements signed between the two countries. However, like I and others have said before, if you want something good, you need to invest time and effort into it. Sadly, the people Boris Johnson and Liz Truss sent to meet the Kiwis came back with something terrible for British farmers. New Zealand gets the benefits, while Britain ends up with pretty much nothing. And of course, all of this was done in haste in order to distract the public from the ongoing problems of Brexit. However, if the UK had remained in the EU, it would have benefited from the trade agreements signed this week by it and New Zealand. Here the Commission President Ursula von der Leyen laid out some of the benefits.
Now, after 4 years of negotiations, today we are signing the free trade agreement. It is an ambitious free trade agreement. It is a very well-balanced free trade agreement. I think it provides plenty of opportunities for our respective businesses. The European Union is already New Zealand's third biggest trade partner. And with this agreement, we should be able to increase trade between us by 30%. And EU investment in New Zealand even by 80%. So this is excellent news for the businesses in New Zealand and in the European Union. As such, this deal is already very special, but it is also a trailblazer. Because for the very first time in a trade deal, we have included commitments on the Paris Climate Agreement. This reflects our shared net zero goals, and it's a real first of. Our agreement also facilitates the flow of data between us. This is a huge potential for our economies, but also important, it will do so in a way that protects individual rights and privacy. So I think we can be very satisfied and proud about what we have achieved. I really want to thank Minister O'Connor and Executive Vice President Valdis Dombrovskis for their very successful and mutual beneficial negotiations. I also want to thank the whole team of negotiators for their tireless work, big time, and I want to thank the Swedish presidency for its fantastic work for the Council.
Okay. The UK seems to be is going in the direction of reducing standards, lowering standards. You know, the deregulation trope that's been trotted out every once in a while by people like Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson. Well, less Boris Johnson, but also Jacob Rees-Mogg. Yeah, we need to get rid of regulations. We need to go in the opposite direction of the EU. But you can see here now. I haven't seen the details of the free trade agreement. So, the devil will always be in the detail. But on the surface, it seems that they want to go in the direction of, for example, respecting net zero targets and the Paris climate change agreements. They also want to share data. So these are important things. But what's also ironic about all of this is that New Zealand, as on the same day, was added to the Horizon scheme, the Horizon program, which the UK is trying to get back into. So New Zealand is going to get into Horizon faster than the UK would. Now, we have to remember that this was on the table for some time, but both Boris Johnson and Liz Truss refused to implement the Northern Ireland Protocol, so the European Commission responded by saying, well, okay, we're going to keep you out of the Horizon program. Now, I disagreed with them at the time, but the irony here, of course, is that a country that's not even in Europe is entering this scientific program, which is extremely important when it comes to research and development and the future of our planet. I think this is really important to get the greatest scientists working together to deal with all sorts of problems. But you have New Zealand joining before the United Kingdom, which is once again an example of the damage Brexit has been inflicting upon the UK over the last number of years. It wasn't necessary to stay outside, At the end of the day, both Boris Johnson and Liz Truss, who had threatened to trigger the Article 16 of the Northern Ireland Protocol, didn't. So it was all for nothing. Really, it was for nothing. At the end, yes, the Northern Ireland Protocol is being implemented, upgraded in a sense through the Windsor Framework, but the damage to science and research in Britain could be long term because of the fact that it was outside the Horizon programme. So it eventually will join later than New Zealand. But of course, the main point here being the trade agreement. I haven't heard any negative news regarding this from farmers in Europe or farmers in New Zealand. So perhaps on the surface, it's better than the UK one, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.